It's the final weekend of the college football season. Next week is conference championship week, and then we get our final college football playoff rankings where we'll know which 12 teams are going to be competing for a national championship. As I record this, the weekend isn't officially over. There are still many more games that need to be played, but up until this point, safe to say, the college football playoff rankings just got a whole lot more complicated. But before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel, so make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Now, before we get to the craziness of Saturday that we've already seen, I want to quickly go over what we saw the last couple of days because there were a few notable games. First, let's go back to Thursday where number 17 Tulane fell at home to Memphis. Now, Tulane is still going to be in the American Conference Championship game, but by losing that game, they're going to drop from their number 17 ranking, and that pretty much wipes them out of a potential playoff berth. As I talked about in some previous videos, if Tulane kept on winning and they had a little help in front of them, there was a chance they could have gotten an automatic bid and been the 12th and final team inside the college football playoff. But with that loss, they are officially out. If Georgia would have lost yesterday, that would have made things really interesting, considering they still get a chance to play in the SEC title game. Had they lost, they would have had 3 losses, but a win next week would have given them an automatic bid into the college football playoff. Now, escaping with a 2-point victory over Georgia Tech, things are going to get really interesting for Georgia next week should they lose to Texas. I know a lot of people are saying a 3-loss team doesn't deserve to make it to the college football playoff, but if any team is going to do it, it's likely going to be Georgia. Alright, I just wanted to talk briefly about the Tulane and Georgia game. Let's get to all the craziness that we've already seen go down today. We'll kick things off with probably the biggest upset of the entire weekend and one of the biggest upsets of the entire college football season, and that's Michigan, a 21-point underdog going on the road and taking down number 2 Ohio State by 3 points. During the video last week, I went over all of the potential scenarios for the Big Ten championship game, but I said none of it really matters because Ohio State is going to take care of Michigan and they're going to get an auto spot into that game. Well, that's why we play these games, and I guess you never know, because with the loss, Ohio State is no longer competing for the Big Ten title. Instead, it's going to be Penn State. Now, although this Ohio State loss was really shocking and they should really drop in the college football playoff rankings, this loss does absolutely nothing for them when it comes to the college football playoff. Now, unless the committee decides to drop them more than 10 spots because this was an ugly loss, Ohio State is probably going to fall to 6, 7, maybe 8 at the absolute worst, and they're still going to remain inside the college football playoff rankings. Now, this actually benefits them not playing in the Big Ten title game because they don't have another game to play where they can afford a 3rd loss. So with only 2 losses, Ohio State is guaranteed a spot inside the top 12. Now, for losing this game, at the very least, Ohio State should not get a home playoff game. They should be forced to go play on the road because how are you a playoff contender? How are you a 21-point favorite at home? Your rival is having a terrible year. They've been a terrible team, and you get embarrassed and lose at home like this? Yeah, that's absolutely embarrassing. If it were up to me, I would drop them to 9 or 10. That way their first playoff game has to come on the road, because now they're still probably going to get a home playoff game. Still, it's the craziest upset of the weekend, and it's one of the craziest upsets we've seen all season long. Things just got really interesting in the ACC. Needing a win to advance to the ACC title game, Miami fell on the road to Syracuse 42-38. With this loss, Clemson now goes to the ACC title game where they're going to play SMU. Now, I say things got really interesting because now bid stealers can come into play. Had Miami won this game, they would have likely secured a spot inside the college football playoff and Clemson would have been eliminated. The reason is because Clemson lost today and they suffered their 3rd loss of the season, and they're probably going to drop a number of spots. But because Clemson is playing in the ACC title game, they now have a chance to secure an automatic bid. Now, if Clemson loses in the ACC title game, nothing is really going to be impacted all that much. But if Clemson beats SMU, things are going to get absolutely insane. You're going to have Clemson who secures an automatic bid, you're going to have a 2-loss SMU team who is deserving, and you're also going to have a 2-loss Miami team who knows where the committee is going to put them. So because of the outcomes from today's game, we now have potentially 3 ACC teams that could sneak into the college football playoff. When it was looking like all along, we'd have at max 2. Now, I do want to say one thing on this Miami game because I was watching the 4th quarter. With 4 minutes left, Miami had 4th and goal, and they were on the 9-yard line. Now, despite not stopping Syracuse all game, as evident by their 42 points and over 500 yards of total offense, they opted to kick the field goal to turn a 1-possession game into a 1-possession game, cutting their deficit from 7-4, did absolutely nothing, and the fact that they were banking on their defense to stop Syracuse was absolutely insane. So Mario Cristobal, I don't know what the hell you were thinking by kicking the field goal there. You go for the touchdown, you try to tie things up, and even if you don't get it, you're pinning Syracuse on their own 9-yard line, where things are probably going to be a whole lot different than giving them the ball on their 25-yard line. That decision didn't necessarily lose them the game, but I just don't understand why you don't try to tie the game there when your defense has been absolutely terrible all game. But yeah, I'm not exactly certain what's going to happen with the ACC, because like I said, things are going to get absolutely crazy. And it's all going to depend on where these teams fall in the next round of rankings. Miami's currently ranked number 6. This isn't a terrible loss considering Syracuse is pretty good, so you'd have to imagine they're going to drop maybe 3-4 spots at the absolute most. SMU's ranked number 9. Hopefully they get bumped up a couple of spots, because if they were to lose in the ACC title game and they're ranked number 9, would that be enough space to stay inside the top 12? I'm not sure at all. So if you're a college football fan and you want the most chaotic scenario, well, you're going to root for Clemson to win the ACC next week. Going back to the Clemson game though, South Carolina did pick up the victory, and this is a team that just continues to climb up the rankings. They were number 15 entering the weekend, and with Clemson losing in front of them, they're definitely going to move up at least a couple of spots. Now, it's going to be interesting because South Carolina doesn't play in the SEC title games. They don't have a chance to get another win on their resume, so at this point, it's in other teams' control. But you can't argue that South Carolina has been one of the best teams in college football for the last month. The crazy thing about all this is that you have South Carolina and Clemson, two teams that are both 9-3. One of these teams is deserving of going to the college football playoff at the moment. With the loss today, Clemson should have been eliminated, but yep, they're still alive in the hunt, whereas South Carolina, they have a lot of things that have to go their way in order to sneak into the top 12. One final thing I want to wrap things up on, my Arizona State Sun Devils, boy did they dominate Arizona. They won 49-7. I don't know why this was an 8-point spread. Now I will admit, if you watched my videos the other day, you would know that I talked about being really nervous about this game because anything can happen in a rivalry game, but Arizona State proved that they are the real deal. They are one of the best teams in all of college football at the moment, and man, what a team, what a run they're currently on. Now, as things stand right now, they haven't officially secured a spot in the Big 12 title game. I think they still need a couple of other outcomes to go their way, so hopefully by the time I record my next video, ASU will officially be in the Big 12 title game, a win away from securing a spot in the college football playoff. Well, that wraps it up for today's video. Like I said at the beginning, there's a lot more chaos that can actually go down, but I wanted to get this video out talking about all the games that have already happened and what this means for the college football playoff moving forward. Drop a comment down below and let me know what your favorite game of today was so far and what your thoughts were on some of the upsets that we've already gotten. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all season long, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you all in my next video.